Hello and welcome back. Today we are playing as Romania in Victoria 3. Last episode we got pulled into Great Britain's market. I think that was last episode. And we also acquired Moldova as a protectorate state. This episode will kind of be looking into acquiring more territory from Austria. I believe it's just the Transylvanias and the rest of Moldova are all the territories considered to be Romanian ethnically. And then we will have gotten all of the Romanian sand back. Starting as Wallachia, which is just the single province. We will take an unpause and start going. Another thing that we can be doing is if we look, we can form the Danubian Empire. So this is interesting, and maybe this will be the final goal of this run, because there's no achievement to be had here. No like Dracula's revenge type of thing, starting as Wallachia. And so this seems like maybe it'll be fun. And to that end, we're going to need to have bad enough relations, which we do, with Austria, that we can do one of these things. Now, I think that the Transylvanias, yeah, they cost a lot of infamy. And I think they did not before we formed Romania, but now that we formed Romania, it's not cheap for us to grab Romanian territory. It's interesting. But what we might do is, we want to keep our infamy below 25 rather, just to avoid some nastiness from other people, just be kind of not a pariah. So what we might declare as the first war goal against Austria when we fight them the first time is just taking this, because this will be the cheapest in terms of infamy, that still gives us territory that we want, and then have them, like, release Hungary. Oh. Okay. I didn't even know we had that ticking. I guess I should have been more observant. But, also, we have, like, kind of the economy recovering. We're just going to let this tick for a bit. And then, well, actually, the investment pool is growing. So we might just expand construction now. We don't mind the radicals, because we have all the radical reforms. So we will expand construction, even though we, things might not look good from a money perspective. We have a rather large credit, but we'll work our way out of it pretty quick, I think. Quicker than it might seem. Hopefully the audio is good. We do have a new mic that we are working with. Let's see. What do we have going in terms of laws? I think that we mostly have all the laws we want. We probably want to swap over to some type of poor laws, but I believe currently in the government we just... Wow. Why are you not very... Why is the Radical Party not very legitimate? Because the Social Democrats won the election, I guess? Okay, fair enough. We'll put them in power. I don't think this was the case when we logged off the game, but I think it got patched, so... well, there's a few things that we wanted to pass anyways that were in that vein, so we will go for regulatory bodies, I think. And for that, we will need more government admins. We'll just put them in the back of the queue, though, because not much of a rush. Radicals at the gates. We have guaranteed libs. Why do we have so much negative authority now? I think we just get rid of taxes. They aren't a huge source of income anymore anyways. In the beginning they're quite large, but as you start to get more revenue from, actual national taxes and investment pool transfer, they start becoming a lot less important. I suppose we could get rid of, we are encouraging manufacturing, I think, in Dobruja as well. We could get rid of that. But I think I want to keep it for now. Because we'll push up standard of living by getting rid of the taxes anyways, which will cause more migrants, which of course will make businesses less profitable with the higher wages. But I think we can afford that for now. Okay, why did our generals get moved off this? Did we have a general die? Trade unionist, offensive planner. This guy's so good though. We'll promote the guy that was good. And I think that's, yeah, we have all the generals we need. So Radical Party crushing it. So I think now what we just swapped this. So we'll put the radicals in government. Our colonization should go a lot faster. And then I think that, I mean, I do want to let this tick at least once, but then I might take them out of the government. Not very legitimate. Let's take a look at the colonies we can go for. We'll go for this one as well. And hopefully this picks up at a pace where we can actually get into the Congo and we don't get cut off by one of these nations now that we have discovered malaria prevention, which was down here, which importantly also allows us to increase the institution level, but makes severe malaria not so bad. So we will go to our institutions and we will bump it up. Alright. Now what else do we want? We could do zeppelins for the memes. We love the airship mooring post. This actually seems like the most worthless tech in the game, but I also like the airships, so what can you do? Could we go? We could go for telephonos. Doesn't seem terrible. I like electric railways too. Let's do that. Now, I'm not sure we have all the PMs turned up all the way. Let's turn this up. And I think we gotta get electricity cheaper before we can do that. We could take a look at our market. That will use up 900 electricity. Let's take a look at the electricity prices, or how much there is in the market. So currently, there's where it'll kick us into a shortage. So, which is why we were producing so much electricity. I guess we'll... Where do we have peasants? Northern Serbia. Could switch to coal plants as well here. Coals. Why is this not profitable? It makes a lot more electricity. It's interesting. I think if we want to turn it on anywhere, it'll be here. Radicals all around. That's very fortunate for us. Now we can take the trade unions out of government to make it very legitimate, or much more legitimate. Yeah, they've done some recent changes to the way legitimacy is getting calculated. Like throughout this run, so things have been changing in real time, and now we have a bunch of extra authority. The popularity of our guy. Oh boy, oh. I guess we'll put the taxes back on. Tax luxury clothes. should decrease quality of living a little bit by taxing these things. That's okay. Now, right now we are researching. Yeah, I think we should. We are researching electric rails, so I think we actually do want to up some of this stuff even more than we already are. And then we'll put down rails preemptively. I guess we didn't need one there. Guess we're pretty good shape. Oh, these subsidies are so painful. And they're because rails are really cheap, or the rail stuff is cheap, because Britain just doesn't want to turn on the PMs. Like, so for example, if we look at the coal, they're using rails, and rails are really cheap. If we pushed up the price of rails, which you can by using a bunch of rails, then it would help to make us pay less on that subsidy. We do have to be working towards independence, though, a little bit. So let's take a look at the clubs, make sure that they have enough infrastructure. Good chance they don't. We'll just add one at the back of the queue. And then we just barely got in down here. Yeah, hopefully we don't get cut off. And once this war finishes, how will we be doing? We will just about be able to declare war on Austria. Now, if we do declare war on Austria, who is likely to help us? They just have a rivalry with Italy? They're protectorates of Spain. So it will be a bit of a war. They're currently in a war. I think we should declare rivalry. Because we know we're going to go to war with them eventually, and try and improve relations with people who might be able to help us against Austria. Sounds like a good plan to me. This war's coming along nice. Still cranking up quite a bit. Kind of wished we could have, like, let Chile become radical Chile, but I guess that's not allowed. Not very radical, bro. We can afford more construction now. And I think let's try and get some of these that aren't at 51 up to 51. Now, you're just having trouble employing. It says we have enough qualifications. Maybe we should focus on rural stuff a little bit more. Banana. Alright. Do not have too much opportunity for this, but we will. Or we don't have too much sugar available, so we'll do that. Put one at the back as well. Slowly getting out of this, and we can declare war on Austria. Now, Austria is currently involved in a war that's not going very well for them, but I don't think that they're... Do they actually have a front anywhere? No, they're just decaying on the war, so they're going to white piece that out, and I don't think I'm taking too much damage from it, but let's check and see if we can take on debt. How much debt do you have? 10.3 mil. Less debt than we have. Let's take a look. Who has the stronger military? Just on our own 1v1. Although it's never really a 1v1, so... We do. So I don't think we can... They don't have enough people rivaling them. Like, if they had more rivals... other than Italy. Like, we could probably get Italy to help us out. But they have a trade agreement with France and the UK. Which means that I think that we need to just become stronger before we fight them. So we'll work on that. Feels bad. I think like we deleted some of these bills not too long ago. I think northern Serbia also had a bunch of peasants. So we'll expand. This is cranking up pretty fast. A little bit faster than we would like. But it will pull in more pops. Our line is straight up, so that's good. Could probably go after even more construction. We are draining the investment pool, so this is something to keep in mind, but not by a lot. You know, you got to keep an eye on this investment pool change, because if you build up a huge supply and then you overbuild construction and you're like at a minus 100k, eventually you're going to get slapped with it unless you can build through it. Something to keep in mind. Let's see, let's take a look at the journal entry. Guess we want to do skyscraper at some point. And we want to expand a lot of our institutions, so we'll just put down a couple of these in the queue. The queue is going pretty well. Now, I don't think we can fight Austria in the super near future, so maybe we should just, like, subjugate Peru, Bolivia, or something like this. There's a lot of infamy. How do you feel about us? You're protective and cordial. Guess we could be doing a little bit better than that. It's nice that we are not getting cut off here, so we will get a decent amount of Congo for rubber and such. Now that we're starting to enter the later phase of the game. I think we're going to turn on this now. It says we're losing money, but I think that these places are just not fully employed. Or even remotely close. You would make a lot more coal-fired. Maybe I'm okay with the coal being case in this one. And then stopping auto-expand. And then we'll make it publicly traded. And then we will fire a bunch of people. So this will lose 89,000 laborers, but hopefully they go to work in the energy business. And it will only be unpleasant for a little while as these things adjust. Because now we have this really expensive input, but the electrical places are nowhere near full capacity of hire, or at least I guess this one is nowhere near it. And so the salary here should increase. Annual wage is 21. What's the annual wage here? Yeah, it's less. So this is why this one's not employing and this other one's employing first. Because it's not efficient. Because here the manufacturing jobs tend to be more efficient because we're encouraging manufacturing here. But there's just too many jobs built here as well. Need more immigration. But this helps pull the immigration. This average wage being very, very high compared to, you know, average wage here. It's going to help pull more people here. And the average wage here should be even higher. Yeah, that's a huge wage. So that's really just pulling pops into the place quite strongly. I don't think we do houseware plastics. We will be okay with this defensive pact because I don't want them to side. So they have a trade agreement with Austria, which makes them more likely to side with Austria, and so this should be able to help us. Looks like I think this little human splash is new on the migration event. We got a vanguardist in the Radical Party. I think we are working on some government admins, and so we will kick these to the top of the queue, or some of them, because we're starting to run a little bit of a negative. I'm just trying to think of if there's anything like really productive we could do. We want to let this tick down, and we want to fight Austria at some point. That's good for us. Mass migration event. I think that for laws, there's not much we can pass. I guess we could switch to like protectionism instead of... I actually like mercantilism. I like mercantilism and free trade, so try switching to free trade. I think that's kind of the only productive thing we can really do. Don't really want poor laws. I like women's suffrage. I like regulatory bodies. You know, maybe we start pushing towards council republic at some point, but I don't think that's points yet. Like professional, yeah. So I guess we'll go for free trade here, which has a decent chance of passing. And then one reason we're not expanding construction right now is because we're about to finish a lot of military, and that's going to cost money, and so we're not sure what the situation is exactly. You know, in terms of how much construction we can afford, because we also have to afford the military. Could just try and humiliate them, but well, they're conciliatory. Let's end the rivalry with Russia. Because now that we have Moldova, we don't want to take any more Russian dirt, really. Or it's not conducive to our major plan. I think min-maxing, like, we would... maybe we should just pick on the Ottomans. We could puppet them. Take Eastern Thrace. How you doing in terms of pops? It's quite a... that would be quite a nice little bump in pops. We would get the unique building here, but I don't think this building is useful. Not really, at least. Alright, we gotta switch to tractors. Oop, and we have construction to fill in. So Switch all these things over. Is it really just the one thing we have that can do tractors? Okay, fair enough. We've successfully mechanized agriculture. Wasn't too bad. We're gonna get electric rails cars pretty soon here though, so maybe we shouldn't even be building the railways. Mechanization of farming. Now let's do that. Distribute it. Well, we could go for military attack in order to fight Austria after we finish electric railways. You know, we could go trench works. We do have all of the tier 3 tech, so we would not have a malice. Seems kind of fine to me. Let's see if we are at our cap for research. We are not quite at the cap, so we will add a couple of these. Wow, these are super profitable. That means we need more. It might just be because the UK is fighting, though. Always have to kind of keep that thing in mind. Mass migration events are our friend. As the pop goes up, price of labor will come down. I think we might want to... Yeah, I think we'd want to empower the trade unions, generally speaking. Here. Which we could do instead of taxing services. We don't really mind, alright. Oh, we can't bolster interest groups anymore. Just kidding. We're not that kind of government. Fair enough. So why don't we start in Wallachia? Because there is an event. This one. I'll take the Loyalists. And then we will just, whenever an area runs out of infrastructure, we'll swap them over. So if we go here, we'll just take a look. If there's any place short, we'll just swap them over. So we'll just swap those 3 over. I know we're building rails now, but eventually they will be useful. So we'll just swap you over to electric trains. Swap you over to electric trains. I guess I could have at this point just kind of swap everyone over because it's almost everyone. We'll just do that actually. Now, someone, a viewer, told me that you didn't have to pay. So let's take a look. Currently we're paying 113 goods for military buildings. If we switch and wait a tick. Let's wait another tick. Because I think they said that you didn't have to pay for conscripts PMs, but I don't think that's correct. Looks like it's slowly going up. They're slowly going up anyways. I mean, let's swap a lot of stuff over then and just see. Oh, we also just finished the manufacturing for it. Alright, let's see if on the Monday it switches. Well, looks like it didn't. It's kind of silly, I think, that it doesn't, but I think we take the guaranteed. We don't want to pull off of it. I'm sure the Intelligentsia are pretty happy with us, but we'll just double check. Yeah, they can take the knock. Alright, so we do need to add a bunch of construction here. Don't have a lot of places that make sugar. I think they can make tobacco, so maybe we don't want to do that there. Yeah, they can make tobacco. Tobacco's not even as profitable, though. Cotton is profitable now, though, so I actually do want to expand that, because that is going to be something we are going to care about having when we break away. That stuff will clear pretty quick. And we will work to get a couple places up to 51 if we can. It's not going to be very profitable, but whatever. We're getting to the point where we might not need to specialize as heavily and we can just start dropping 51s, you know, in various industries and other places other than the capital, especially in Dobruja, because we are encouraging manufacturing there. How much population's here? Versus here? Yeah. Ooh, I don't think we want to be on speed 5. Well, we do want to be thinking about a war, because we are starting to get pretty low on that. We will do. And then I think we'll also do skyscrapers over here. No frontier lasts forever, that's true enough. Wallachia has the most peasants. It's because the wages are so high. Alright, let's just pull one of these. And set them to auto-expand. I do love me one of these fat loyalist ticks, though. We'll take the loyalist tick. We're not in a hurry. This is like really is the only law we're trying to pass right now, so I think we can afford to do it like this. I'm gonna take a quick look at our PMs. Man, it really should conscripts like really should use up like military goods while they're setting up. I don't know. That's just what I think. Just doing that to clear the thing. Alright, we do have 200 guys. I think what we do is we expand the military a lot in anticipation that we are going to go to war with Austria right when we finish trenches, or a little after finishing trenches. So I guess this might be a little early to pull the trigger, but they have to have time to employ and stuff too. But we are going to dramatically increase the size of the military and then go after Austria directly. I don't think this is the easiest point of ingress to getting more powerful. I think it's important to note it's just like for this playthrough where we're trying to get Transylvania and Moldova and stuff. I think it makes sense. But as a general like expansion plan, I think going after generally going after European states just acquires you way more infamy than it's worth, and like you should go after like, you know, East Borneo and get the oil and the wood and like this type of stuff, and not go after Europeans because the percentage you get like a huge infamy like penalty going after European countries, especially great powers, I think, if I recall correctly, which I might not. And also expand construction quite a bit, I think. We'll just do one everywhere. That isn't the capital. Actually, just kidding, we'll do one everywhere. And then let's take a look how we're doing infrastructure. We're fine in Patagonia and stuff. Are we fine over here? We are fine. We're almost not fine, but we are fine. We're gonna add that there, so they get connected to the market, like at all. Cool. Also do one of these, because that's the only thing they can make. And we are, ooh, we might get cut off here. That'll be unfortunate if we do. Hopefully we can snake our way in here, but we do have the backup down here. And we get super cut off, it's not the biggest deal. Less rubber for us, but we can still like beat up people over here to take rubber. And in South America, so there's that. Okay. After all this, I think we will want more guns and more ammo. Are we making enough ships now? Let's add that too. Looks like I'm going to need more government admins, which is fine. Balanced as all things should be. Okay, we're doing pretty good here. And we are super prepared to swap over this PM. Can we check their PMs? I think we can. They already have trench warfare. See, that's... don't like that. I can't believe it doesn't cost money to swap your conscripts over to, like, the best PMs. Okay, so how many guys do you have? Your economy's pretty big. It's not like ours isn't like way bigger. And you have 300 battalions. I think we're going to have over 300 once we're finished, but we won't have better PMs than him. So it'll be a matter, can we get people on our side, except for, I think Russia doesn't like us still. They're conciliatory neutral. Prussia's likely to join against us. France is really likely to join with us. France is a bit of a wild card, and they're somewhat likely to join with us. Puts us in a bit of a weird spot. Check what's expensive in the market. I think we are importing silk primarily. We can do a little bit about the wood, not a lot though. That's about all we can do. Industry stuffers. Well, we don't want that decrease in throughput, so we'll just take the conservative minus 10%. That'll be fine. How much military are we building up to? Let's count it. No, that's not what we want. We want this. Okay, so when we're done, we will have 100, 200, 300, 350, could do 400. I think this will kind of kick our economy down a bit, but whoa, that is a thing. So maybe we can do something. Yeah, we're doing that. Do we have a truce with them? Probably. Yeah, we do. So I guess we can't do anything quite yet. And I think we're going to kick all the barracks as we built to the top of the queue. Where the barracks is the 50 we add in. Oop. I forgot oil rigs are like super profitable right now, so we'll just do that. Alright, we do have a proper full colony, so we should be able to declare more interest. Quite a bit more, actually. Alright, this is fine. We actually do want all of Austria to be declared, so we can break them up as we see fit when we fight them. And can ramp up construction a little bit more. Probably looking to just like settle in about 1K, which is not like the largest we've ever had, but to be fair, the game actually kind of gets a little unfun when you have a ton of construction. Keeping up with it's a little bit difficult. Alright, we are going to need to recruit generals. Henrik. Seems better than Henrik, so we're going to promote him. This guy, I think we liked a lot. Don't like that he's a traditionalist, but what can you do? Got a feminist up in this bizzle. Or are we set to... Yeah, it looks like we're going to start losing money here in a sec. That's okay. We are just going to... I think we switched all... No, we didn't. We're going to switch the rest over to electric trains. I mean, we could go for more of this. Squad infantry is, like, nice, but... Destroyers and landing crafts would be really nice. We're not going to unlock destroyers in time, so why don't we just research landing craft? And go trench. Which is going to be expensive. It's so wild to me that this doesn't cost you money unless you raise them. Seems like... Why do we have... What? Is that bad access? Why do we have bad access to the market? Because of that. Okay. That'll do it. We have a defensive pact with them. Okay. Well... This is gonna be... This is stymieing our, Austria ambitions. And is going to absolutely crush our economies, so there's that. Yep, paying a ton more for subsidies. It's fine. It's gonna be fine for a while. Not a super long while, but we can eat this for a bit. Let's see what else we can build in the meantime. I think we could start expanding the glassworks somewhere else. No, it says it won't be very profitable. So nothing's going to look profitable. That's right. Because we have no market access. That'll do it. I'll do it. Pig. I'll do it. Russia rivals us. Not exactly the timing we want on that. Considering Great Britain can't help us in the slightest at this juncture. Still keeping this construction going. Yeah, would rather they didn't rival us. This is the formerly rebel one. Would like them to become friendly with us. That's gaining some speed, plus 15%. I like that the law advancement is now here. I think before it used to be like down here in terms of the notification. We would really like market access. That would be really fantastic if we could get that. Wonder why we have none. Because it's not because we don't have the convoys. I mean, we do have a connection to the British market. This is really uncomfortable though. This is so weird if it's like this. I mean, we might get booted out here. Assuming we get booted out, we can do some of this prep. I think we have to wait. Or is it because you don't have infrastructure in London? Yeah, I think we just need to reoccupy all this. But this is like, we're gonna have such a nice buffer and feel so good going into this Austria war that we wanted to start. Now it just doesn't look like it. Radicals are shooting up. Loyalists are shooting down. We would just like to be outside the market now. We could start damaging relations. Once our relations get negative, we just get bopped out of the pact. I think we want to do this after the Austria War, though. Yikes, that's a lot. Oh, it just sucks because I have like 0 market access, even though like a lot of my stuff would be like internally, like solvent or whatever, right? Like I'm running. Like internally, like if I was just on my own, it wouldn't be the like absolute worst. Like this is like a third of what our economy was before. Oh, we're gonna default. I think I want to just start damaging relations with them now. This is not good. We turn off construction. Oh, it barely does anything. Yeah, we're paying too much for government wages because standard of living was too high. Standard of living is now plummeting, but and as it does, the government wages should go down. But like a lot of this is just government wages and subsidies for all these railroads. Oh, jeez. So we might default here. I mean. It's gonna adjust to like reach some sort of equilibrium. This is really uncomfortable. I mean, we're gaining ground too. God. Just had to pop a rebellion. This is an example of like how you can experience extreme discomfort because our credit line, like before, was like 50 mil. Because our businesses were profitable, because they've become so unprofitable by this like happening in the market. Maybe we'll stop. We'll stop damaging relations, but we are now in default. National Liberal Party. You know, I have never declared bankruptcy in this game, so I guess I'm kind of curious what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like we can do this, though. I suppose we want to wait until after. What is this about? We're gonna stop the skyscraper survey if we can. We can't, that's cool too. It's because we have no paper. It's because we're not making paper. Enough paper? Is it the decreased throughput penalty? Not even that many pops, but we don't want this huge offense and defense penalty. And construction. Guess we just need to build more of those. I think that the problem is like it's temporary output, like due to low market access. So we'll just... Oh, we have no construction. That's right. No, we just have to win this war. God. This is a perfect example of why being in someone else's market is like can be disadvantageous. I think it normally would bop us out of their market. I want to go back to damaging relations. I went out. There's too much pain. We had like... Our economy is so big and now it's like just crushed. I mean, we have all the buildings still, so like it should bounce back pretty quick. But this is just, we're upping the speed. There's really not much we can do right now. We will swap to siege artillery once this is done. I feel like we're the only ones fighting here. Allied, we're gonna swap over. Well, we'll swap them over now. Apparently it doesn't cost anything unless you mobilize. A hard time, you're telling me. Yeah, we can't afford anything. Good luck. Good luck, citizens. This is the end of the road for Romania. Not really, but... I guess I should have read the numbers a little bit closer. It was super cheap. Alright, now everything should start recovering. Should TM. You're coming back up, right? They are not very fast. Not as fast as we'd like. Oh yeah, they are. They're cranking up now. Balance is being restored to the force. Radical Party wins. Good free reform. We'll keep the trade unionists in, because we actually do want to pass some laws of theirs, actually. Like, old age pensions. Why can't we do old age pensions? Oh, because we're trying to do free trade. That's why. Maybe we should put them back in government for, let's say for now. And this economy's shooting back up, baby. What's this about? Watching this all recover so fast is so incredibly satisfying. And let's resume the construction. Maybe we can't resume the construction. God, still so much in subsidies. Unreal. We actually do really want out of the market because of the subsidies thing. But right now, our credit line should be growing much faster than we're going to build out of this deficit. Our credit line should be growing faster than we're accruing debt. I think. Yeah. So even though we're losing money, we're going less and less in debt. Acquiesce, of course. We want the free trade is the last thing we want from the industrialists, and then they can be out. And we're done with them. I don't like radicalism. No, don't want the. Oh, Jesus. It's starting to rebound, but man, this is painful. Many places are profitable. It's coming up. Could increase taxes on them. Because it's already rebounding, I think we are going to increase taxes. Because the trajectory's up, by the way. We might even have time to implement the destroyer. We'll switch to siege artillery. But yeah, our credit line is growing much, much faster, which is why this bar is going down despite us losing money on every tick. And this is just like straight back up. This should start cranking back up pretty soon here in a sec. We do have over 1K construction now. Now what's expensive that you guys like? Nah, your goods are cheap. Groceries though. Okay, we can do something about groceries. I think it might be time for another grocery industry. We have a lot of peasants in Bulgaria. Well, let's do one of those dealios. Set you to auto expand. Let's see, how much debt do we have? 29 million. and they'll gain an obligation on us, so they can force us into their market. Except I think we'll be too big once we're out, so they can force us into a war. I think we're okay with this. I think we like that. It's quite a lot of debt for them to take up. And let's see if we're going to need extra infrastructure here. We will for the level 51. We want a defensive pact. I don't know if I want to... Well, I'm actually okay with this. Because we're looking to get away from Great Britain here. And just be our own market. And while we have a defensive pact with with France, it'll be easier to pull them into a war with Austria, which is kind of where we're working towards. What is our military score here? 67. So we are way stronger than Austria now, I think. Yeah. And we are no longer hugely in debt, just slightly in debt. Pretty okay running this deficit too. So we will kick down the speed, and I think we will call it an episode here. What happened this episode, that was, we were kind of preparing for a war with Austria, and then Great Britain had a revolution, and we were a member of their market, which cut off all the market access, which tanked our economy from like 400 million to 80 million, and just absolutely wrecked our guts. We got rearranged, if you know what I mean. And so now we're kind of recovering from that, about to start our war with Austria. You know, I still think things look bad, but I think we're in really good shape. We have a ton of buildings. We're doing fine. But yeah, so this is demonstrative of how things can just go horribly bad when you're inside someone else's market. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and have a good day.